How to address self-doubt. In this video, I'm going to offer you a way to address overthinking, analysis paralysis, obsessing, various what we could call symptoms that are part of a constellation of issues that I might term self-doubt. Okay? Now, the first thing to do is to differentiate self-doubt, the way I'm using it, from self-inadequacy. Okay? So the way I'm using it, some people might use those terms synonymously, but the way I'm using it, self-doubt refers to essentially a cognitive issue, an issue of obsessing over things. It's trying to achieve an understanding that never comes. And we can consider it an issue that revolves around the element of character that has to do with understanding. Okay? Now, it may also be useful to differentiate self-doubt from pathological guilt, which can take the form of compulsion. Self-doubt can take the form of obsession, and obsession and compulsion are often thought to go together, but they don't always go together. And I think it's useful to distinguish them. Okay? So here in this video, we're just looking at self-doubt. And what I want to do is offer you a little exercise that you can do. And if you're inclined, you might do it daily for a few days, maybe even 5 to 10 days, and see what impact it might have on this issue of self-doubt. It's a sentence completion exercise. And the way it works is I'm going to give you a series of incomplete sentences. And when you do the exercise, what you'll do is write out the incomplete sentence, or you could type it. 2, you're going to write or type 6 to 10 endings for that sentence and go quickly, invent. If you get stuck, don't censor yourself, just pump out 6 to 10 endings. And then you go on to the next stem, you write that one and write out 6 to 10 endings for that until you've gone through the set of stems. And then forget about it. And then maybe the next day you do it again. And that's the general instructions for this exercise. But now I'll give you those sentence stems that you can use. So the first one is, if I can accept feelings of self-doubt. The next one is, if I can distinguish rational doubts from self-doubt. Okay? The third stem is, if I can accept my capacity for ignorance, error, and misunderstanding. And the fourth stem is, if I can take responsibility for developing my understandings. And then the fifth stem will be, I am becoming aware. Okay? Now, what this exercise does is it allows for distinguishing and acknowledging and recognizing the symptom itself. That's the first sentence stem. Right? There's something powerful about just recognizing that it's a symptom for what it is and that it's happening, right? There's a certain disidentification that can happen when you do that, okay? And then the second stem allows you to process the distinction between a rational doubt, which you can certainly have, and it's healthy to have rational doubts, to doubt things that are worth doubting. That's a important cognitive factor. But that's different from self-doubt, which we could define as basically a sense that your mind is fundamentally untrustworthy. Okay, so it's not doubt applied to a particular thought. I think that may not be right. I have some doubt there. It's doubt applied to your whole very mind. And that is a symptom. That's a pathology. Your mind is basically a workable tool, but you can be wrong about certain things. Now, that's important to acknowledge, and that's then what the third stem does. is it allows for the fact that in human mental life there can be error, there can be ignorance, there can be misunderstanding. Now, sometimes we have a little trouble saddling up to that reality, right? I don't know if it's that we somehow remember being a god or a god and we miss the omniscience, or if it's just something else. But it would seem to be a developmental step, perhaps, to accept this fact of the limits of human cognition, okay? And so the third stem is to kind of help you process that. The fourth stem, the taking responsibility for developing your understandings, is to attend to what might be a grain of health in the pathology of self-doubt, which is to say an interest in developing genuine understanding, which does take effort, you know. And so if we don't attend to that aspect, the self-doubt might keep going because there is something that's not pathological that it may be wanting us to do. Right? Sometimes self-doubt is an indication that we do actually need to work more for genuine understanding. But we may need to treat the part of the self-doubt, in other words, the overgeneralization of the doubt, in order to work for understandings in a way that's healthy and not rooted in this pathological issue. Okay? All right. So I hope you find that interesting and useful. You can check out my other videos for tools for dealing with other kinds of issues. And, you know, sometimes we have multiple issues at the same time, and it can be useful to identify what those are and apply tools for each of them. And so please check out my other videos if it's of interest. Thank you for watching, and I'll be back with more soon.